Hello and welcome to today's video, which is called Programming 101, and I hope you're having some excellent breakthroughs. I've had a couple of emails from people in the last day or so, and they're having some great experiences. They're feeling calm, relaxed, and some great interaction with their higher selves, and I hope everybody is having that kind of experience now and connecting with their higher selves, and it becoming easier and easier every time that you do it. Okay, so let's take a moment now and take a deep breath in and hold it for a moment and relax and feel a wave of relaxation coming down from the top of your head to the tips of your toesies, coming down through your body, through your crown chakra and your scalp and your cheeks and your neck, down through your shoulders, arms, chest, stomach, abdomen, your hips, your legs, thighs, calves, ankles and feet, down to the tips of your toes and out into the ground. Feeling nice and relaxed now, and taking another deep breath in. Hold it for a moment. And as you relax, feel that wave of relaxation coming down through your body, and use the will of your mind to release any tension, stress, negative thoughts, energies, any worries, concerns, fears, any of that stuff, any of those multiple things that you think about all day long. Just letting all of that stuff go now as that wave of relaxation moves down through your body, relaxing every muscle, fiber, tissue, bones, molecules, atoms, quantum particles, every single fiber of your being fully relaxed, and just releasing all of that crap out there into the universe, gone forever, never to return. Isn't that a good thing? And now just take one more deep breath in and hold it for a moment. And as you relax this time, imagine a column of beautiful golden living light, sparkling golden liquid loving living light coming down through your crown chakra, filling your head, neck, shoulders, chest, stomach, abdomen, hips, legs, the thighs and the ankles, the arms and the fingers, the feet and the toes, filling every fiber of your being with that beautiful, living, loving golden light, filling all of the molecules and the atoms and the quantum particles and every single part of you and all the spaces in between, filled with that beautiful, loving golden light. And just breathe that in and out for a few moments. Breathing in the peace, love and harmony, and then breathing that back out again to the universe, filling the whole universe with that golden light. Breathing it in and then breathing it out. And just take a moment now and send some love to Mother Earth. Just project some of that golden light down to the core of Mother Earth and send her your love. You could say something like, I love you, Mother, I really appreciate you. You could send some love to other people that come to mind, like your body mother, and brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, children, maybe some co-workers, people on the street that you've seen. Just send a bit of love, radiate that love out to everybody. So just take a moment now and ask your higher self to be present in you as you watch this video, and to make you aware of the things that you need to be aware of, and to remind you of those things that you need to look at in your life. And I'll ask my higher self to be present in me as I continue to make these videos and these trainings for you, and to remind me of anything that I need to be aware of as I do so. Okay. And remember that you can invite your higher self to give you advice at any time. And ultimately, the idea is that you start to live your life from the perspective of your higher self. So you start to become who you really are, and live your life from your true being, your true nature, which is your higher self. And you'll become more and more aware of this, and you'll notice more and more when you are living your life from your higher self perspective, and when you've slipped into those ego programs. By the end of this video, you're actually going to realize it a lot more. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so here we are again, and this is Programming 101, and you'll see there's a few videos on this page, and this is the first one, and the other three videos, are videos that I did a while back, but they all discuss how our minds are programmed. So if you've looked at the Visualization Turbo informational page, then a couple of the videos are on there, and also the Abundance Visualization Training page. There's a couple of videos on there, and I've embedded them onto this page so that if you didn't get a chance to watch them through, you can have that chance now. Okay, so this will be a slightly more brief video than the other ones that I've done, I think. And what you can see here on the screen is a picture representing the brainwave states that we go through during the course of the day. And first of all, there's beta, which is wide awake. So as you're sitting there, you're probably sort of in alpha at the moment. You're nice and relaxed, and your brainwave state has slowed down a bit. And maybe earlier on in the day you were in beta when you were walking to work, or when you were getting up in the morning and cleaning your teeth and doing some cooking, and maybe sending the kids off to school. So beta is very much the wide awake conscious mind state, and it's where most people spend most of their lives. And just on the right hand side there's a little reminder, and that's our conscious mind, our intellect, can only process, generally for most people, and this can be increased with training, 5 plus or minus 2 pieces of information at any one time. So that's between 3 and 7 pieces of information. So if I told you sort of, you know, to remember the following: banana, strawberry, car, motorbike, microwave, blender, bottle of water, pencil, feather duster, broom, kitchen plate, etc. So if I strung out a whole bunch of things and I spoke those, and then I asked you to remember how many I said, you'd probably only remember a handful of them. something between 3 and 7 of them, depending on the level of training that you've got so far. So where does the conscious mind get its information from? Well, what happens is it dips down into the alpha programming level, and you can see at the top there's all these little dots in here, and each of those represents programs in our mind. So during the course of the day, in fact during the course of our whole lives, we are bombarded with information. So we get something like 2 million, I think it is, pieces of information coming in per second, and we filter that. And we filter that with our senses, and we filter it with our beliefs, and we filter it with all of the programming that we have in our mind, so that we don't get overloaded with all of that stuff. So down here in the alpha programming level is the stuff that we've focused on in one way or another in our lives, and it has become a program in our mind. And some of the dots are just memories. So, you know, you might have been driving down the street and you know, on your way to work or something, and everything that you passed actually got recorded into your unconscious mind, but then it got filtered out into these little sort of blips of memories. So you were driving down the street and you saw a lady wearing a red dress walking a white fluffy dog with a pink bow on. You might have remembered that because it was about unusual. Or you might have, if you're not in such a good state, you might have remembered the person who pulled out in front of you and, you know, made you slam on your brakes, and you went do on your horn, things like that. Okay, so what we focus on, we energize, and it ends up in this sort of more energized level of our unconscious mind. So in hypnosis, what they've done is they've taken people in hypnosis back to certain points in their lives, regressed them, and they can remember everything. So, you know, they can remember smelling a rose, or they can remember what, you know, stuff in their childhood. They can remember their first birthday party and stuff like that. So it is possible to actually go into your programming levels, into your unconscious mind, and to have a little look around at what memories are in there if you wanted to. And this is one of the things which helps us when we clear stuff. Okay, so I'll come back to clearing a bit more in a future video. So we've got all of this stuff in our unconscious mind, and it's in the alpha level. Okay, why is it in the alpha level? Okay, so the alpha level is just under beta. So alpha, you're still awake, okay, but your brainwave state is lower. When you get down into theta, it's the mystical state. Okay, it's when you drift off into sleep, and this is where most of your dreaming goes on, in this theta sort of level here, and in the lower levels of alpha. And so this is the sort of mystical state, and then down here we have delta, which is the deep sleep state. So if all of your programming was down here in delta, for example, then you would have to go to sleep in order to pull out the information to clean your teeth. And obviously that wouldn't work very well, because everyone would be falling asleep every, you know, sort of second or so, because they can only remember between 3 and 7 pieces of information at any one time. Okay, so the programming is very close to the waking state, so that it is easily accessed. All right, so down in this programming level, if we think of a sports person, okay, they would put sports people, and I mentioned this in one of the introduction audios on the introductory page of the website. Sports people are talked about being in the zone. So in the zone is where they're in a slightly deeper level of consciousness. So when they're playing, for example, a game of tennis, a game of cricket, perhaps they're playing snooker, you can see that they sort of go into what is called a trance state. So it's where they're more focused within than they are without. So beta is very much the state where we're focused without, we're looking out at the world, and alpha is where we're pulling stuff, where we're focusing a little bit within and we're pulling that programming out. So You know, if you think about watching a tennis player or something like that, they're not distracted by what the crowd's doing. They don't look around every time someone sort of opens a can of Coca-Cola or drops their hat or something like that, or everyone's running around, you know, picking up balls. They're very much in the zone, which is in their programming, and it's in this upper region. So in order to change our programming, we need to get underneath it. So we need to go from beta down into alpha, and we want to be underneath the level where the programs sit. So ideally, when we program, we will drop down into the lower regions of alpha and perhaps on the borderline of theta. Okay, so the deeper that we go, the more easy it is to actually program. Okay, so we might imagine, for example, okay, here's a little story. So they've done tests, right? They took basketball players and they made them throw the ball through the hoop, and they did it in a physical reality, and they practiced throwing the ball through the hoop, and they got sort of, let's say, 10 out of 20. And then some people practiced in their mind, and they threw it through the hoop, 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 and then they came on the court, threw it through the hoop, and they got something like 17 out of 20. Okay, and then the other combination is where somebody practices something in their mind and then they do it in physical reality, and that might get the results up to something like 18 out of 20. Okay, so practicing something puts a program in here, and if we want to pull a program out, we get up in the morning, we open our eyes, that's a program. We have a way that we get out of bed. We might get out of bed and just leave it a mess, or we might get out of bed and then make the bed, or we might get out of bed and go to the toilet, brush our teeth, have a shower, have a shave, then go back and make the bed. So there's sort of sequential programs that run. So one program leads to another program, leads to another program, leads to another program, and we sequence our way through life. And a lot of these, for most people, these programs run unconsciously. So people will get up in the morning and go to bed at night without even realizing that they've had a day. Okay, they've lived a day of their lives. And some people, they might get up in the morning and go to bed and not even realize that years have passed or decades have passed. Okay, so that's how asleep people can be. So in order to make changes in this program, not only do we need to put new programming underneath, and I'm going to be teaching you how to do that in this course, but we also need to start waking up and dissolving some of this programming. So if we see that we clean our teeth and put the toothpaste in the freezer afterwards, and our wife always comes out and says, "Hey, why did you put the toothpaste in the freezer again?" And you go, "I don't know." It tastes good. I like toothpaste flavored Icy Pops, you know. So, you know, the way to break that would be to become aware that you're putting the toothpaste in the freezer and to notice that program. And when you start noticing that program, you break the program. Okay? As soon as you become aware of it consciously, you break it. And the more aware and awake you become, the more of all this stuff you can break, and the more of the stuff that you want you can actually program in here. So programming goes from birth to death, essentially. You know, we're programming all the time throughout our whole lives. And okay, down here we have like the universe mechanism. So we've got beta, the waking state, where we're conscious; alpha, the programming level; theta, which is where we're in sleep; and delta, we're in the deep sleep. And this is where the body rejuvenates. So our minds, our consciousness kind of leaves our body at night, and our body sort of floats around, and it just sits there and it gets healed in this sort of delta deep sleep state. And when you're dreaming, you're generally drifting around this area here, perhaps popping up into alpha. And then the delta state, you know, if somebody, let's take hypnosis for an example, and there's some stories. I think there's a hospital over in the USA where they did some testing. They put people into a very deep level of hypnosis, a catatonic state, and then they sort of wheeled them into a room and left them there in the dark. and those people experienced sort of, extremely rapid healings of their body because they were in such a deep level of sleep. And then down here we've got the universe mechanism, and we've got our higher selves in the light and the God force, and then right at the center of the God force we've got the point of the God force, the center of all things. Okay, so when we move out from here, from the God force, we move out to where we are in beta wide awake state. There's a separation. Okay, and this is pretty much an ego area, and the God force area is down there. And what people are experiencing, what's going on in the world today, is the degree of separation between where their God force is, where the actual God force is, and where they spend most of their lives in this unconscious ego programming. Alright, so I'll move on to the next slide. And this just explains it in a little bit more detail. And you can see here the conscious and unconscious minds, and we've got the alpha level. First of all, we've got the beta level, and that's 13 hertz. Then we go down into alpha, which is 8 to 12 hertz, and theta, which is 4 to 7 hertz, and delta, which is 0.1 or 0.00001 to 3 hertz. Okay, and these are brainwave frequencies. And then underneath that, we've got the God force in the center, and well, the God force is everything, but we've got the centralized point of the God force, the light. So when we want to create something and manifest it, we go down into alpha, we put in a new program, and our unconscious mind sends that new program to the universal mechanism. I'll just go back to the last slide, the universal mechanism, which sends it to the God force and sends it back again. Okay, so the universal mechanism is where our reality is projected from. Alright, so our higher self is down here, and the universe is over here, and all of these programs here, you can see some of them have got these little sort of arrows around. These are energized programs. So the more energized the program is, the more emphasis it has within a person's unconscious mind, and more preference is given to it when the unconscious mind sends it to the universe to be sent back into our daily reality as an experience for us to have, so that we can see who we are and how we're doing. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Everyone and everything has a point of God force in them. So you can see even the sort of unhappy people here, they've still got a point of God force in them, because if they didn't have God in them, they wouldn't be here, they wouldn't exist. So everyone and everything, and you can see that's supposed to be a cat. We've got a dog down here, we've got another dog over here, and you can see some people have got more light showing, right? And animals have lots of light because they're very close to the God force. And some people have got more light because they're connected with their higher selves, or perhaps because they're children. Okay, so everyone and everything has got God force, and remember that when you're out there in the world, as you encounter people out there, and perhaps situations, even situations that you don't really like, or things that you observe maybe on television or in the newspapers, everyone doing everything has got God force in them. Okay, so everyone has a point of light in them. Alright, and some have more than others because that's what they want, and others maybe don't have it because they don't even know that they can have it yet. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So I mentioned yesterday about stupid rules, okay, and this is a few slides on stupid rules. So I'll just go back a little bit. So in this area here we have our programming, all right, our beliefs, the things that we believe about the world. Okay, so stupid beliefs are things that we believe about the world, and a lot of this I mentioned yesterday about how we are programmed. And we're programmed by our parents, our friends when we were kids, by our school life, by the media, by TV, games, movies, books, etc., by all of the how-tos out there in the world, this way, the easy way, if you remember the slides from yesterday. And all of that programming goes on from basically the moment we're born until the moment we go back into the light. Okay, it's out there. And for most people, it dominates their lives. They're steered into ego subtly, very quickly from birth, and kept there by an onslaught of all of this, stuff from society and media until they pass, right? And that's kind of how it works out there in the world. So the idea is to become conscious, to become awake, to spot what sort of programs are running, and to observe them, and to use certain techniques which I'm going to show you. Ho'oponopono is one of them, to dissolve them, and with the help of your higher self they become easier to dissolve. Okay, your higher self is there to help you. You ask and it will do it for you. Okay, so the programs that most people have, the boxes that they live in their lives, there might be a race box. Okay, what race are they? There's a faith box, a class box. Are they, lower class, middle class, or upper class? There's a location box. What country are they in? What nationality are they? There's a job box. Are they skilled or unskilled? Are they better than someone else or worse than someone else? What is the opinions that go around in that job box area? Wealthy, are they wealthy or poor? Okay, what box are they in? And there's so many boxes. So if you think about a person, they've got all these boxes in their unconscious mind, right? And then their conscious mind drops down, pulls out a box, which is one of these stupid rules, and then they live this stupid rule during the course of the day. Okay, so for the most part, people live their lives in boxes, but not just one. They live their lives in so many boxes because they have so many stupid rules. Okay, and on top of these sort of main ones here, there are so many etc., etc., etc. And a lot of these etceteras are the stupid rules that we make up for ourselves. Okay, now stupid rules are basically beliefs, okay, what you believe about the world, but looking at them as stupid rules makes it easier to spot them, I think. Alright, so if you're looking at the stupid rules that you have and you're being awake and you're observing, I think it's a slightly different point of view to sort of observing and saying, oh, what beliefs do I have? Do I have this belief or that belief? Pretty much most beliefs are stupid rules. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So out there in the world, in society, we have groups of people. So these are the red people, living in their boxes, in their sort of grey cloud, alright, their grey cloud of ego. And then we've got the blue people, and remember, each of them's got a little point of God force in them, right? They're not lost. Well, they are lost, but they're not totally lost. Alright, so they're in their grey cloud, and they're the blue people. And then we've got the green people down here in their boxes, in their cloud. And then we've got the brown people over here. Alright, and then we've got the orange people over here, and we've got the turquoise blue people over here, and then we've got the pink people who are not in such a grey cloud, but they're still in boxes. Okay, so most of the world lives their lives in these clouds within their grey boxes. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to get out of our box, alright, and we want to dissolve all of that crap programming that we picked up, and we want to be the programmers of our minds with the help of our higher selves to show us what we want to program, okay, and the help of our intellect, our conscious mind, what it is that we want to focus on that's going to bring us joy and happiness, so we can get out of the box and out of the grey cloud, and we can get into the light. And then we can go out there in the world and we can shine our light in the world, and you'll be amazed at how people even if they're in their boxes, will react to your shining light. Okay, so your light shines bright. You're a light worker. All you need to do is just step out into the world and walk into a shop and everybody starts smiling. Okay, because your energy is high and your light is bright. And because your light is bright, it triggers their little light inside them and puts a smile on their face. So, okay, let's move on to the next slide. So we want to be, our goal is to be out here in the world and running around, having a lot of fun, shining our light and helping anyone who wants to be helped, essentially. All right. Okay, so, you know, how many stupid rules do people have? All right. Okay, so, you know, the red people might have 1,000 stupid rules. Okay. And the blue people might have 7,000 stupid rules. And the turquoise blue people might have 19,000 stupid rules. Okay. And then the purple people have got 50,000 stupid rules. And then the blue people over here, or well, they're another shade of blue people, they've got grey people, I think they are. I've got 10,000 stupid rules. Right? And okay, why, if you observe the world today, honestly, and you look back at the last 20 years, would you say the world has improved or not? Alright, so I don't think you need to think long about answering that question. And the answer has got to be no, Carl, the world hasn't improved. Okay, and I remember speaking to my dad, and it must have been about, I don't know, 12 years ago, something like that, and I was like, he was complaining about something. Oh, these people did this. Oh, those people over there, race stuff, and all, you know, all the kind of garbage that people have in their minds. I love my dad, but he's got a whole bunch of stuff. So I said, Dad, look, it's not going to improve. And he's, oh, you know, it'll get better, and blah blah blah, and went back into his own sort of dream world. And then 10 years later, I remember having a conversation with him. He goes, Carl, you know, you were right. It hasn't improved. Okay, so why hasn't it improved? Okay, because we have all these stupid rules, and we have all these stupid rule makers who are living by stupid rules. So if you've got 1,000 stupid rule makers, right, and they are living by the stupid rules, and their job is to make stupid rules, and they are asleep, unconscious, living their lives in their boxes of stupid rules, what do you think they're going to do? They're just going to make more and more and more stupid rules, and the red people will continue to make more stupid rules, and the 7,000 blue people, stupid rule makers, will keep making their rules. And the 50,000 purple stupid rule makers will keep making more and more rules because it's their job. All right? And they're so asleep, they don't know. Right? So they go to work and they make a new rule. And then tomorrow they go to the work and they don't go, oh my God, we've got enough rules already. Let's start subtracting rules. They make another rule. Okay? And you think about the stupid rules which have come about in your country, in your town, all right, in, you know, your job, or in your business or whatever. Just think about all those stupid rules and how many more stupid rules. I mean, you have to have stupid rule makers to keep an eye on the other stupid rule makers to make rules for the stupid rule makers. Okay, so I mean, it's just got to a place of absolute insanity in the world, where there are so many rules and they're absolutely ridiculous, absolutely stupid, and they're restricting people more and more. So, okay, on top of all the stupid rule makers, we make our own stupid rules, don't we? And you know what I mean. So how many stupid rules have you got? How many have you made for yourself? 756, 920, whatever. So, you know, I'm really emphasizing this point because I want you to observe yourself. Begin to wake up, observe yourself, and observe your stupid rules. Why do you tie your shoelace, the left one first and the right one second? Okay, why do you wear a tie to work? Okay, why do you wear a grey suit or a blue suit to work if you wear a grey suit or a blue suit to work. All right, why do you, and all of these things that you do, why do you do it? All right, who told you to do it? Yeah, who said you have to wear a tie to work? All right, what stupid rule is that? Okay, so just start being aware of all the stupid rules that you make, and I've mentioned that again and again and again. So we want to let go of all these stupid rules, and when we're out of the box, our light shines brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. Okay, so this is planet Earth, and here's you, and you've connected with your higher self and the God Force, and the God Force is shining its light down on you, and the higher self is shining its light down on you, and you're shining all your light. You said, hey, I'm over here, shine your light on me. And the higher self is going, okay, I'm here, and the God Force is going, yeah, okay. So all this light's shining down on you, and you're becoming lighter and lighter, and you're saying, hey, my brothers and sisters are here too. So you shine your light on your brothers and sisters, and their higher selves go, all right, and send the light down. All right, and the light pierces the cloud of fear and the cloud of desperation and the cloud of all that grey cloud that's sort of swimming around the world at the moment that people are in. Okay, so here you are. You're asking your higher self to guide you. Your higher self is part of the God Force, and your higher self gives you the guidance, and you're having a wonderful life. It's abundant because now you know, don't you? You know how programming works. All right? You know that you've been programmed, and you know that you have self-programmed. Wow, you made all those stupid rules for yourself? Okay. So shine your light out into the world. And the final slide is, I just wanted a quick sum up. Basically, we know, don't we, how programming works. We know now that you've watched this video and listened to this that our programming is in alpha, in the upper regions of alpha. We know that we have stupid rules and stuff in here which is getting projected into the universal mind, the universe, by our unconscious mind, and getting projected back to us as experiences in the waking state. So we know we have that stuff, right? And you know you have that stuff. So the idea is to start becoming aware of it and de-energizing it. You see the ones with the cross through them? Cancelled programs, deleted programs, all right? And in the on the introduction page on the website, I said, you know, you clear something, you go clear, all right? And you clear it with intention, you clear it with passion, you clear it with the right attitude, it's gone. All right, you know how this stuff works now. It's becoming clearer day by day as you watch these videos. All right, so now we know that, what we want to do, and this is where we're moving towards this week, is we're going to get a vision for our lives. All right, and the vision for our lives comes from our higher selves. Okay, and our higher selves knows the way. It shows us where to shine our light on planet Earth. Okay, so our higher selves knows which direction to take. We don't need to spend the next 30 years fumbling around in a dark room with a blindfold on trying to find a card, because we're connected to our higher selves. Okay, so if all the programming went in there, okay, and you know, it took quite a while to get in there, you might be wondering, wow, you know, I'm 30 years old or 40 or 50 or 60, 70 years old, and you know, I've got a lifetime of all that programming. How am I going to get rid of that, and how am I going to get the new stuff in quickly? Well, I've got some really, really good news for you. Okay, some fantastic news for you. Okay, so when you align to your higher self, your higher parts of your consciousness, you don't need to know in so much detail what to clear. All right, and I'll go into this a little bit further. You know, it might take you 10 lifetimes with your conscious mind trying to work out what to clear, okay, in order to free up your journey. But when you connect with your higher self and you have a vision, you only clear what gets in your way. You don't need to clear 10,000 programs. You just clear the ones which are energized, which are standing in your way, and then you just observe all of the other stupid rules and they fall away. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to get some motivation and some momentum going with our vision. All right. And the great news is, this is the great news, it takes a lot of time and a lot of consistent programming to put all the crap in. All right. Okay, so it takes, over time, all that crap goes in. So people who watch the television every day, you know, they're in a TV trance and they sit in front of the television, their eyes glaze over and they zone out for about 3 hours. They're being programmed, and that has to go on day after day after day after day after day, right? What makes the difference is, number one, your connection to your higher self, and the big secret is love. Okay, you align to the God force, you align to your higher self, and the power of love, because the game of life is the game of love. When you have that love feeling and you do your inner work and you do the several ways of manifesting, or the many ways of manifesting, the many ways of using your imagination, when you do it from a perspective of love, it is powerful. Okay, and it, you know, if we look at people out there in the personal development world today, and I've talked about this before, they're trying to use spiritual principles and they're trying to use them as sort of an emergency fix to try and get their lives in balance, to achieve goals which are ego goals. And they can never get enough balance to achieve the ego goals, right? So they can, you know, the ego goals are just, you know, they're limited goals, they're societally programmed goals which generally disappoint people. So people are out there and they're doing clearing and clearing and clearing, and they've done so much clearing and they're still not achieving their ego goals, right? But when you come back into, you hook up with your higher self, you connect with your higher self, you invite that consciousness into you, your higher consciousness into you, which is who you really are. Right, when you live your life from the perspective of your higher self, and we'll go into this a little bit further, then you're connected with the oneness of all things. You realize that everyone is God force. You realize and love everyone because they are you. It's the sacred mirrors, right? The mirror at the end of the day is that everyone is me, right? And I love me and I love everybody. Right? And when you get to that point, the programming, what you want in your life, comes to you faster. Okay, so you don't need to clear so much because you're on the right path, and you can program more easily because you've got that feeling of love in your spirit and your soul and every fiber of your being, and you radiate it out into the world. Okay, so this is Programming 101. I really hope that helped you. I think it has, hasn't it? Alright, so God bless. I really love you. I totally love you with all my heart. I want so much for you to have the breakthroughs with this training and to have the kind of life you really want to live. And I'll see you on the next video. God bless.